Hey, welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there. If you guys could subscribe, that'd be great. And appreciate you stopping by. So Jimmy Buckets, he spoke to the media a little bit today after practice. Jimmy is expected. He says he's expecting to play in the second preseason game against the New Orleans Pelicans, which, yes, it is already a sign that Jimmy Butler is trying to make himself more available. And that was another big theme today, was availability and how much he plans on being available for his team and how much. We'll get into some of that. All their news and notes from practice today from Anthony Chang, Tyler Hero, and Jaime Jaquez both went through practice. The Heat are saying they will see how they feel tomorrow to determine if they will play in the preseason. So that is, of course, going to be the big thing that you have your eye on tomorrow when you go into this game. But Jimmy Butler, we will get back to him here in just a second, but certainly would like to get a little Tyler and get a little Terry. As Jimmy did point out today, that he wants to get more time with Tyler Hero, Terry, Bam, and Nikola Jovic all on the court together. And that's certainly an important element to this thing. Now, getting back to Jimmy, there was an interesting quote that he had today about the money not mattering, and that his only focus is to win. And again, this kind of goes back to media day, where whatever you want to say about Jimmy Butler or how this whole thing's going to go, I think the Miami Heat have already gotten the nod from Jimmy, so long as things go good. I mean, losing can always change things, so you have to always have that carrot on the side, is that losing can always change things. It can change attitude. But from the outset, the worry about how the attitude was going to be, or the attitude of the team, or the mood of the team, everything has really felt way more harmonious, in a much better place. And the Miami Heat are getting everything publicly from Jimmy Butler that you could possibly want to get from Jimmy Butler. A team that does not like drama, does not like noise from the outside, does not like being unable to control the narrative. I think when they hear their star speak after practice today, not much better than you could have hoped, him saying everything that he could say. Because, as this was pointed out in an Irish column today, Jimmy last year a little bit sarcastic about the number of games, saying 10 because they had changed the minimum amount of games to 65 and all that type of stuff. But Jimmy was asked today in the media session about the games played and where he stands with things, and that this kind of went off to, he's going to play as many games as possible. That is the plan, that he's going to be out there for as many games as possible. When he was asked about it, he says, I don't know. When asked about how many games he plans on playing, I want to play as many games as possible, and I'll leave it at that. I don't need to put a number on the amount of games that I'm going to play. I know the more games that I play, the more opportunities my squad has at winning. I do know that. Which, yeah, for sure. The more Jimmy Butler's out there, the better spot the Miami Heat are going to be on. This was the interesting one, though, when asked about being eligible for All-NBA and being eligible for awards, if that's still a goal of his. This was, to me, the most intriguing thing about what he said, because he did bring up, the money and where things stand and all that type of stuff. He was asked by Ira about the number of games that he's going to be played, and here's what Jimbo had to say on that and the money and the games played, and here is the Heat star.
Is that 65-game number meaningful? The fact is you might need a potential contract year?
It means nothing to me at all.
You being All-NBA or All-Defensive or something, you're beyond that at this stage?
You said, am I beyond that?
Yes, I mean,
if we're being brutally honest, no matter what, nothing I do now is going to get me paid any more money, even though I don't care about the money. All NBA, none of that's going to matter. I'm at a point right now, I got more than enough money. I'm just here to win.
So, does Jimmy Butler care about the money? Does he not care about the money? I think the thing that's interesting about it is, does Jimmy Butler care enough about the money that he's going to make a stink? I think the early answers of that is no. He apparently has taken the challenge that the Heat have put out there, and he is publicly putting it out as, I want to be available, I want to win, I don't care about the contract. He's going to, he has put a fire extinguisher on any little thing that could spark into a controversy. he's kind of put aside. Like, he's saying, if I'm brutally honest about it, no matter what I do, from an all-NBA standpoint, look, the 65 games, he's hit that, I think, one time in his Heat career where he's hit 65 games. Everybody who thinks Jimmy Butler is going to go out there and play 70 games this year, I just think in my mind you're setting yourself up to be disappointed, because Jimmy Butler does get banged up. And if you guys did watch the Netflix series, and he says if you don't feel right and you don't feel in the right place to hoop, how can you be mad at that? I just think this is a personal philosophy of Jimmy Butler's. Like, Jimmy Butler is still going to miss games this year. I do think that is going to be the case. I think that if you think that number is just going to be a dozen games, man, I think the Heat would, if you told me that the Heat would just sign up for Jimmy Butler today, only missing 12 games, they would run right now and they would take that deal. You know, they would run and take the briefcase. But the odds are it's probably going to flirt more in the 19-ish, 18-ish realm. That's what it's been his entire career before this was even a thing. So you're hopeful that's not the case. I hope Jimmy Butler has the most durable year of his career. I mean, man, that would be amazing if that's the case. But I just think if you look at the history of what he does, he typically misses that like 17, 18 range. And typically it's the thing that was different this year as opposed to last year. And now that we know that there are different elements that were also at play personally with him last year. Typically it's usually a first half thing that Jimmy Butler misses most of his games. That was always the case. Is usually once Jimmy Butler gets to All-Star break and gets past the All-Star break, and really even after it gets after the new year, the games missed thing typically in his Heat career hasn't been as big of an issue. It's usually I got this in October, I got this in November, I got this in December, boom, 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 rev up the engine and go. It just wasn't the case this time. But his Heat career has been 58 games, 52 games, 57, 64, 60. I know a couple of years of those they were shortened seasons, but 64 is the most. Now they were a 1 seed that and they were an 8 seed that year. Even the year that they were the 1 seed, he played 57 games. So he played less than the amount. It's just he hasn't played over 70 games since he was 27 years old. He hadn't been eligible for this award since 18-19, the 65 limit. So when he is asked about all that stuff, about making All-NBA, I do think Jimmy Butler is not a bowl bleeper, right? In that case, I don't think he's going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm going to play all 82. Oh, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to play 75. Because why say something that's probably not going to happen? He probably is going to get banged up. When Jimmy Butler plays, he typically plays a very physical style. The way that he looks after some of these games, I will tell you, knowing that he was going through ankle injuries, and I thought that was some of the fascinating thing in the Netflix series about how they work a lot of the lower body stuff. But man, the guy does walk around like he puts his body through a lot physically to play, and is usually playing up in size from other guys. He's defending bigger guys. He is a guy who likes to crash into people to get to the free throw line. So there's going to be bumps and bruises along the way, guys. You know, like, just because Pat Riley comes out here and he says he wants people to be more available, it's not like everybody was out here, oh, okay, you know, like that's going to fix everything. It does, but it does have to be noticed. It was absolutely an epidemic for the Heat last year. That many starting lines was ridiculous. So I'm hoping, honestly, for better luck this year more than anything for the Heat, because I do think that when you have that, there is bad luck, for sure. But I don't know, man. I think that for this Heat team to expect Jimmy Butler to be in the 70s, I just think that's unrealistic. He's typically a guy that's going to miss usually around 15, 16, 17. That's usually where the number's going to be at, and then sometimes more. Now, He did mention today, though, he was asked about the idea about why he's playing in the preseason. And mind you, this has been a pretty soft, because of the storm, it's been a pretty soft schedule so far. The Heat got their scrimmage in. Jimmy played a little of that. They played their first preseason game. Jimmy got his 18 minutes in there. Now we've been off. They've had a couple of practice days, which I think is actually pretty beneficial for the Heat. He's going to play this game. I would imagine he's going to play the next game and then probably not play in the back-to-back. If I had to guess, that's likely the so will he even play in the finale on the road? I don't know, because my guess is their practice schedule's probably been warped a little bit by this, because they were probably going to get more practice in, and now they got games that they got to get in, or they have a game that's young and then they have a really hard practice the day before the Memphis game, and then they determine where they're going to go at there as far as the schedule is concerned. So a lot of that's going to be up in the air, but I would expect Jimmy Butler's probably going to play at least 2 more preseason games. This one and then probably another one, if I had to guess. But he did mention today that he wants to get he agrees that he needs to get more time out there with Jimmy, with Bam, with Terry Rozier, and to get some minutes. And that's the big thing of his preseason play.
Go out there and compete, hoop, get comfortable, get acclimated with these guys. I think everybody knows me, Tyler, Bam, and Terry haven't played a lot of minutes together. So this is the beginning of what everybody's going to see come this upcoming season. So get as many minutes that are practice, that don't count, whatever you want to call it, in the preseason as we can.
So I think it's a great thing. Like, he is, he's handled this all like in a way where he's aware. He's aware of what they need. This is not just going to be a switch flipping thing. And I think if the Heat watched anything last year with Boston winning all of it, what they did a couple of years ago was marvelous, and never going to forget what they were able to do to go from where they were so frustrating to get to the NBA Finals is incredible. But it's not the best. It's not the best course of action every year. And to think that they were going to go and repeat it, I can understand why it happened, of them thinking, we can, because you just did it. But I also think they realize they need to work on good habits. They need to be more together. They do need to work and find value in the 82-game season. And having Jimmy Butler, having Bam Adebayo, having Eric Spoelstra all on that same wavelength is important. It's important that you're going to have the durability of Tyler Hero, that Tyler Hero is going to be able to get out there and play way more games than he has. Same thing with Terry. Same thing with the unfortunate things with that happened to Terry, that happened to Duncan Robinson. So as far as what Jimmy was spitting today, where he was saying that he's not worried about the money, he's just here to win. You want to believe him, you don't want to believe him. It's the right thing to say right now. It's the deterrent of any kind of drama or anything that's bad. Go out there, say, hey, it's all about the money. There's nothing I can do right now that's going to get him any more money. And I gotta be honest with you, if he went out there and played 65 games, is that going to be the thing? If Jimmy Butler went out there and played 65 games, the Heat get bounced in the first round, you think the Heat are going to give him an extension? No. I think Jimmy Butler probably realizes, like, I need to probably get back to the finals or Eastern Conference Finals before the Heat are thinking about that again. 65 games or no 65 games. He knows the important thing is win for the organization and win big. That's what really matters, and that's what really matters to Pat Riley.